SDP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Allan Walsh, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
Welcoming Sid Seixeiro, our second guest ever to the Steve Dangle Podcast studio.
Stop it. Cut it out. Stop it.
Chris Johnson, and then you.
I feel blessed. He christened the room first.
Oh,
Hey, see, because that's his name.
His name's Chris.
I got it.
At least you didn't say Johnson the room. That would be bad.
That's for the Dangle Podcast after dark.
Yes.
That's the after dark version.
By the way, Jesse, our I know this will bother you later. Our lights behind you are off, so I just figured I'd let you know.
Thank you.
No, I knew that would bug you. Now this is a big show today. Sid, no offense, we thought we were just getting you today.
And that was going to suck.
No, it's But we have something very special because we have a new person joining the SDPN, and we've been teasing this announcement, and honestly, our listeners have been giving it to me hard. They're like, why can't you just make the announcement? It's like, I have to drive some hype here.
You should just say you have announcements when you don't have announcements. To get the traction I've seen online is nuts.
It's crazy. A lot of people, like I threw it up on the weekend. It's like, who do you think's joining? Not a single person got it. Because I think this is that unexpected.
This one's
cool.
good.
Yeah, and it's not for everybody that said Marilyn Dennis. It is not my mother. Thank you very much.
If you're watching closely on the video, you can see the reflection of the person on the screen behind us.
Oh,
yeah.
So who is it? Let's bring him on, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Allan Walsh.
Allan Walsh.
Whoa! Wow!
So Allan, you're gonna do a podcast with us?
I can't believe it myself.
Yeah. So the show is going to be called Agent Provocateur.
The Sword. Oh no! Sorry. What's it going to be
It's
called?
not going to be called.
Sorry.
The Sword.
No. What's it going to be called?
It'll be called Agent Provocateur with Allan Walsh, and I'm going to be hosting it. But it's really going to be about Allan and about Allan's point of view. And Sid, you've had Allan on when you were doing Tim and Sid, and like so you guys have experience. We'll talk about that. But you know, we've always seen Allan as sort of a guy who, and Allan, I'm going to talk about you as if you're not here. Seen him as a guy who is opinionated and opinionated in the right way. There's a reason that Allan stands behind the things that he says, and we figured it'd be really great to give him a platform to kind of say it more than in just a tweet or, you know, the occasional guest spot on Tim and Sid. So, Allan, if you were explaining this podcast to people, what would you say it's about?
Well, one of the goals of the podcast is to peel back the curtain and give people a behind-the-scenes look into a lot of things that go on between players and agents. And over the years, 26 years in the business, I've accumulated an incredible body of stories that have never been told. And I think it's time to share some of that with people. So fasten your seatbelt. Here we go.
Well, I think this is important because, you know, this is entertainment. Are you going to stop being so wishy-washy and subtle about things?
It's exactly what it is.
Okay.
And
Good.
Steve, it's good to know you're still obsessed with that sword.
I love it. I love it.
He's not the only one.
I want one.
He's not the only one, Allan.
So Allan, you and Sid have had some experience together. Sid, I want to get your perspective on this first. Whenever Allan Walsh was coming on, Tim and Sid, what did you expect?
Fireworks and the truth. Like, Allan, I've always wanted to ask you in terms of like people who like clients of yours in the game and whatnot. Are they cool with this? Are they cool with how outspoken you've always been? Like, have you ever had clients say this is a bit too much for me? Because in the world of hockey, we all know this is not how you normally do business. This is not a sport where you go out there and speak your minds freely without consequence. So how did you get this outspoken? I guess is my only question.
I think it has to do with my background as a prosecutor for 5 years, prosecuting murder cases in LA between the ages of 25 and 30 years of age. I prosecuted 40 murder cases as a hardcore gang prosecutor. And I was somebody that was always really outraged by crime and identified with the victims of crime. And I'm not in any way comparing NHL players to victims of crimes in any way, but in the overall system that we operate in, players over the years in many situations have gotten the short end of the hockey stick, and nobody has spoken up for them. And that has continuously blown my mind. So when I got into the agent business 26 years ago, I tried to fashion for myself a set of values. It was way before social media ever was present in people's lives. But even back then, I never look for a fight with anybody. I try to get along with everybody. But there are times in a player's career, it may never happen, or it may happen once. Very rarely happens twice, but it could, where a player, his career is on the line and he has to know that his agent will go to war for him. His agent will do anything he can to save his career or to get him in a better place or just to help him. And that's the core value that I bring with me to representing players. And Sid, to answer your question, I've never had a player say to me ever, I don't like you speaking out, advocating on behalf of players. You know, I think that if anything, I've had players say to me, even players I don't represent all across the league, when I encounter them and have conversations with them, are telling me that they appreciate the fact that really there's nobody out there publicly advocating for them. And I've been willing to do that over the years.
You know, one of the things about this show that's going to be special, guys, is the fact that it's a show about all the things that you've heard about, but stories behind it, right? Because the thing that anybody listens or watches for is storytelling. And what blew me away, I some background on this show. I essentially cold called Allan midsummer. I just called him and said, "Hey, I'm Adam. Nice to meet you. I'm from Toronto." I was surprised he even took the call. And one of the things that we talked about, Allan, was like, first day we were on the phone for 90 minutes. And I was just listening to some of the stories that Allan had. And I realized beyond the Twitter account, which tends to bring us all down to like a base level, 280 characters or whatever, there's a human being here that has a ton of emotional depth and is a great storyteller. And I think you're going to hear it on the first episode. And it's not going to be like a lot of people are like, well, the NHL these days feels so doom and gloom. You're going to hear a really amazing story about hope here to start the show, because David Perron's going to be on. And David Perron, a lot of people don't know this. I didn't know this. Went from high school to the NHL in 4 years. Sorry, high school. Went from house league to the NHL in 4 years.
Wow.
That is spectacular. And he's going to tell you about how Keith Tkachuk chased him around the ice in his first training camp, and what Allan had to do to make sure that he stayed in camp at all. And I don't want to blow this, but one of the things that we're trying to do with the SDPN is tell different stories, right? And that we've never had we've had the general manager story. We've had the president, we've had the owner, we've had the players. We've never had an agent tell this side of it. And really, I keep saying this, and I hope, Allan, you don't take any offense to this, but agents are the grease that make the engine go in the NHL. And I think you guys are like, some of the stuff we have planned, some of the guests we have planned, the stories are going to blow your mind. There's stuff that Allan has told me about how even in the 2004 lockout, and Allan, don't blow it yet because we need people to listen to the show. But there's some stuff that happened in the 2004 lockout that is going to knock you over. Like knock you over and just blow your mind with how badly, and I'll say this, how badly the owners screwed it up. And I'm not talking about the owners could have had a home run, grand slam, and they didn't. And we'll get into that. And we'll talk about, obviously there's, Allan, I know concussions are a really important thing for you, as well as player rights, player safety, all that stuff. But it comes down to, in everything, it's storytelling. How good can you tell a story? And I know I didn't really phrase that sentence correctly. So I'm really excited about this. And Allan, I think you're the perfect guy to kind of talk about these types of things because you have firsthand experience. You know what it's like on July 1st when two general managers are calling about the same player, and that same player has got to make the call in about 30 seconds, and the kind of pressure that is. And I think people want to know what that's like.
Yeah, and that's happened many times in my career, and there's a lot of fascinating negotiation stories, times with GMs, times with players and GMs, or just sitting with players where there's a high pressure decision that needs to be made in a matter of 30 seconds. And those are some of the stories that I'm going to be sharing with everybody. And Adam, I just want to say that I'm really honored to be doing this with you. I've gotten to know you over the last several months. I really enjoy your perspective, and all you guys are really great guys to be working with, and I'm thrilled and really excited to be doing this.
Well, same. And I think this is going to be a lot of fun. So it's going to be, it will be sword free, most likely, Steve. So I apologize for that in advance.
That's fine. I think, you know what? I think I asked about it enough.
Did you?
Just
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Never again?
Allan, I got it out of my system. Don't worry about it, buddy.
So look for Agent Provocateur with Allan Walsh and Adam Wylde. That will be available on Spotify, on Apple Music, Google Play. We have to wait like 7 days because whatever, their approval process is ridiculous. And YouTube, every single Tuesday, you're going to get a new episode. Should be about half an hour in length. Although, as we've seen with CJ, you just never know. And really, Allan.
And most importantly, the first episode is out right now.
Oh, it's
available. If you're listening to this, you can hear the first episode with David Perron.
That's right. So you can hear that. You can watch. You'll be able to watch it as of Tuesday morning on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/STPN. And Allan, thank you for taking a chance on us. It genuinely means the world, and we're so thrilled to get going with you.
Welcome.
You guys, thank you very much.
It's fall, which means football season is in full swing, and that means for you, that's a way to get some skin in the game and have a little extra fun, and that's why BetMGM remains the exclusive betting partner of The Athletic. As a fan of The Athletic, you can bet $10 to win $150 plus a free 3-month subscription or extension to your subscription with The Athletic when you use BetMGM and the promo code. Just sign up at betmgm.com and use this promo code, TheAthleticPod, at checkout to take advantage of this special offer from the king of sportsbooks. That's a $10 bet to win $150 plus 3 months free from The Athletic at betmgm.com using the promo code TheAthleticPod at checkout. It's a new customer offer. Visit betmgm.com for terms and conditions.
21 years of age or older to wager. Arizona, Colorado, Washington, D.C., Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia only. Excludes Michigan disassociated persons. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona, 1-800-522-4700 in Colorado, Washington, D.C., Nevada, Wyoming, and Virginia, 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help in Michigan, 1-800-GAMBLER in Maryland, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia, 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. Call or text the Tennessee Red Line 800-889-9789 in Tennessee or call 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana.
Oh! It's this time in the show again. So excited to talk to you about this. Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard about the Lawnmower 4.0? Do you know about it? Have you never heard us talk about Manscaped? About having a clean down there area and how important it is? We want you to be spaceship ready. That's right. We want you to be tournament ready if you're a swimmer because you're not allowed to have hair on your body. And that's why you should sign up with Manscaped. And by sign up, I mean just go to the website and use the promo code DANGLE. Why? Because obviously, now here's the thing. Inside the package that you're going to buy for your package, you're going to find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. You're going to find the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer because we want to get rid of those little willows that grow out of those spots. You also get the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant. Want to smell good, right? Who doesn't? You also get a toner. Got to have them shiny. And performance boxer briefs to pack them in, as well as a travel kit too, so you can bring it on the road with you. Let's say you travel a lot. You might need it. Now, again, Lawnmower 4.0 has got some incredible technology in there. Let's just say this. Accidents are not welcome. And their technology actually kind of helps you be accident-free, along with the fact that it's got an LED light that's 4,000K, just so you can have a precise look at what's happening while it's happening. Do you see what I'm saying? So get 20% off and free shipping with the code DANGLE at manscaped.com. Why? Because we could. 20% off and free shipping with the code DANGLE at manscaped.com. Listen, we know that this is your favorite commercial, and that's why we want to remind you one more time. It's 20% off using the promo code DANGLE at manscaped.com. Your spaceballs will thank you. You know, there's nothing more challenging, I think, in life than integrating your sleep with somebody else. It's one of the most challenging things, especially if you're a light sleeper. Now, for me, I am one of the deepest sleepers that I've ever met, personally. Alarms don't wake me up. I could sleep on this desk right now. However, learning to sleep with somebody else, like for instance, my girlfriend, it's tricky. And that's why Helix makes things interesting. If you're in that sort of same situation where you and your partner are completely in love with each other, but you can't really sleep well together because the mattress doesn't work, the settings don't work, Helix Sleep is for you. So Helix Sleep has a quiz. It takes 2 minutes, and you complete that, and it matches your body type and sleep preference for you. But here's the thing. It also matches for your partner. So it's made for you to sleep with your partner and for both of you to get the maximum amount of rest out of your sleep. And we know, especially with all the research coming out, how important that is. So if you need your mattress cool, if you need it firm, if you need it soft, if you need it where it doesn't move as much, there's so many different options, and you can take advantage of all of them. HelixSleep.com is waiting for you. Go to HelixSleep.com/SDP. It will say, welcome SDP listener. Like you. It's talking to you. It's going to ask you to take a 2-minute quiz, going to match you to your customized mattress, and it will give you the best sleep of your life. And they have a 10-year warranty, which, I mean, how long do you need a mattress for? 10 years. And you get to try it out for 100 nights for free. They will pick it up if you don't love it, but you'll love it. Helix Sleep even has financing options and flexible payment plans because a good night's sleep leads to a profitable and productive day. It also just makes you a nicer person to be around. I know for me, I'm no fun when I don't get any sleep. So Helix is offering also $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for you. HelixSleep.com/SDP. Again, it's HelixSleep.com/SDP. $200 off your mattress order and 2 free pillows, along with the mattress that's going to change the way you sleep. So that was great and exciting. Should we get to the great and exciting news that is the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Oh,
No.
We could have just done Allan.
Do we want to do something else, or
Hey,
do we
Sid.
want to get into it?
How you doing?
Hi, Steve.
Yeah.
Good to see you, bud.
Hi. We didn't plan this, by the way,
What do you mean?
to be here on this day.
Oh, this
Monday, the day after the weekend that will live long in the memory of the memory.
No, they're about to beat the Hurricanes 5-1. Freddie Anderson's going to allow the first 5 shots, and that's how it's going to go.
Is that how it's going to go?
No, I don't know. I really don't.
Kotkaniemi's getting 3 tonight. Kotkaniemi's getting 3. Anderson's stopping 37 of 38 shots.
David Ayers is going to play out.
Fourth line.
Power play. Dave, stand in one spot and bomb it.
bombs from the point.
Just bomb it. Man, the reaction to that game wasn't enough. Like, this is the wild thing. It wasn't enough.
What does that mean?
The conversation
What
on
game?
hockey Twitter right now is, why are people overreacting at 6 games in? Guys, Jesus Christ, the Penguins didn't have anybody, and they lost 7-1. Am I taking crazy pills? Have I lost my mind? Dom Decision, who I love. Hey, the Golden Knights are off to a bad start. 2, and it's even worse than why is no one freaking out about the the Vegas Golden Knights? The 3rd round in 3 of 4 years versus the Leafs. I've lost my mind. Why are you all looking at me silently? This is. I'm about to get backed into a corner and taken out of here on a gurney. Are you really? A team with the first liner, Evan Rodriguez, beat the Leafs 7-1. Why am I the only one panicking? Nothing's wrong with me. I'm perfectly fine. What the fuck is wrong with you?
If it makes you feel any better, I think that Pittsburgh team Saturday could win the Calder Cup. I think they have the wherewithal to one day provide you a top 4 defenseman, maybe.
Sid with a classic flip-flop. The Calder Cup means everything.
They have a strong base. What's with that impression of me? That bullshit impression.
The Calder Cup is unattainable.
Hey, Jesse, thank you.
It's not great.
I think it's wonderful.
That's a terrible impression.
Okay, so you have to understand, it was very strange for me, this story. So now I get to tell this story to you because it meant a lot to me. So I was walking around Rogers that day. Well, I wasn't even on with you. It was some other day.
You were coming to see me by my desk.
I was coming to see you by your desk. And
You know, the one time a year Steve comes into the office, right?
and
That's true. It's true.
And well, it's less now. And and Jesse goes, "Oh, hey, Sid, tell Steve your thing." And you're sitting with your back to me, and my childhood turns around essentially and goes, looks me dead in my eyes. Here, Jesse, that camera right there. The Calder Cup means nothing. And not prepared for this argument that I'm supposed to be in the middle of. I was like, yes, it does. I don't remember this. Why doesn't it? You don't?
No.
I remember it like I'm still in the room. It's the Calder Cup means nothing. And I was just like, what? Why? I was there. I had fun. Mason Marchment with 2 goals in Game 7? Fuck yeah. Like you remember it like it was yesterday, right? Cherished memories. Remember the 4th line of Trevor Moore, Adam Brooks, and Mason Marchment?
That shot of Dubas lifting, what I found out in that moment was the Calder Cup.
It was like Metallica in the building that night. Say your prayers with the word.
He raised it. He
shook it.
He raised it like with the force of 1,000 suns.
Yeah.
And it got you Justin Hall. And who else from that team? You went through this.
Andreas Johnson, who is now Joey Anderson.
Was Kapanen not there too? He was on that team, wasn't he?
No.
He wasn't?
Not 2018.
Sure?
No.
Not 2018.
No, he was a full-time
Who are the
lead.
goalies?
Garrett Sparks and Calvin Pickard.
Okay.
Who were easily the best tandem in the league that year.
You've got to be kidding me.
Dude, leaps and bounds the best tandem in the league that year.
Sorry, I don't want to defer the conversation and move it to
No, I think
Calder
this
Cup.
is a good story.
This conversation means everything.
I knew I knew that we would go here, and I'm going to just jump in and say I think it's going to be okay. But I want to hear your thoughts first because both of you are far more entertaining. And I think there's going to be a portion of Leaf fans who's like, oh, it's no big deal, don't think about it. And then there's a portion like what you guys are feeling right now. And I think the answer is somewhere in the middle. But
but the panicking side's more right.
Okay.
Somewhere in the middle, leaning towards panic.
We had a video from you that has well over, is it 200,000 views now?
Oh, I wish. 140.
140.
You hit notes in this video. Mariah Carey couldn't hit these notes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. And within the first 40 seconds, you gave him the goods right from Jump Street.
I can't sing, but if I'm screaming, I can do that. I can be brown. I can be blue. I can be violet. Yeah.
The thing about that, too, is that he did that after doing a stream for 3 hours. And you know what it's like to talk for 2 or 3 hours. It's strangely exhausting.
Yeah, it drains every orifice in your body. Yet you still found the strength to have another go.
Oh, just sweating bullets. Like I'm losing weight now that the hockey season started.
You do look great, actually.
Take that, everyone calling me fat. I'm a little less fat than I was last week. I'm going to have chocolate to piss you off as a reward. Oh, wait, I understand why I'm fat.
The other thing is, so we heard what Steve thought, and then there was a little bit of backlash online about that, and we can talk about that. But Sid, I want to know, you're sitting at home watching this, and you've seen all the games this season, except for the one that coincided with the Canada-Panama game, I think it was. Alphonso Davies with that goal. But what have your takeaways been, and how did you feel watching Saturday night?
I mean, they don't play for each other.
No.
It's fucking crazy how they don't care about each other out there. Like it was, what was it? 6-1-7, 1/3 period. There was a kerfuffle.
Yeah, Wayne Simmons came in and hacked.
I thought Wayne Simmons was going to put a guy in the 3rd row. Because every hockey team I've ever seen, when you're getting skunked like that, at some point, the pride switch goes and say, at the minimum, I am going to show this guy that I am physically stronger than him. It may not reflect it on the scoreboard, but something's going to happen here for the next 30 seconds that will make me feel better.
Right. Maybe
Not Sheldon Keefe, maybe not Kyle. This one's for me. I've been in this league before. Man, I've been in some bad spots. I need to take something out on somebody. And not just Wayne, but anybody. It could have been anybody. Nothing. It was nothing. This team is emotionless. And when it gets difficult, and this is the part where Steve is well within his rights, and you went down the road in the LFR, don't talk about Game 6. I don't want to hear it. You didn't want to hear it. And you're right.
I know.
This is not Game 6.
No.
This is game whatever it is.
600?
250 at
of
least.
the same emotionless garbage over and over again. Now, and going back and thinking about Babcock, here's what really concerns me if I'm a Leaf fan. So you're screaming for Marner to play with Matthews. You're screaming for Matthews to get more time. You're screaming for all this stuff. Change the way you're doing it. Let's get a bumper. Let's make Marner a bumper on the power play. That'll fix everything.
I love that
Let's
term.
get a bumper.
I love bumper.
I don't even understand
What
what,
the hell
that means,
is
to be
that?
honest.
Like you're bowling and they put up the bumper.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, basically.
He's the bumper.
Yeah. And it doesn't work. Not every team can pull off the bumper thing.
Kadri was really good at the bumper.
He was the bumper. Yeah, when he was playing.
I liked it.
When he was playing games. When he wasn't treating human beings like a bumper.
Well, we got a show title.
There you go.
Yeah. I love when early on in the show I'm like, yes, don't have to work anymore.
Mark
Okay.
it down. Bumper. It's the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going through the cap today just briefly.
Oh,
So
why'd
how do
you
you
do that?
How do you fix? Shut up, cap. You know what? This website called Cap Friendly.
I've heard of it.
They're so good.
They are good.
I did not find a team with a player making over 13% of the cap on it, except for the Leafs, who have 3.
Really?
Am I wrong in that? Is there another
McDavid.
player?
McDavid.
McDavid's making a shade below 13.
And probably Panarin.
Yeah,
Might
Panarin's
be-
at 10.
There's
yeah,
a
he's
double
at 10
check
line.
me on Panarin.
It's a list of like 10 players in the league, and the Leafs have 3 of them.
The Leafs have 3 of them.
Yeah. Doughty, Carlson. Yeah.
So you can't unless you find the perfect $1 million player or $2 million player. How do you fix it?
Well, and the exhausting thing for the management group and the scouting staff and everybody is it's not just finding the perfect $1 million player, it's doing it every single year.
Yeah.
And some years are going to fuck up.
Well, because it's supposed to be a gamble.
Yes.
Right? That part is, and listen, it's great that Michael Bunting's seen some early success, but as you've seen with Nick Ritchie,
He's on the 4th line.
right, and it doesn't mean that it won't work out. It just means that it's one of those things where there's a reason he's $1 million player, not a $5 million player. Right?
2.5.
And so, you know, and let me say this, because I do want to speak for the crowd a little bit here that that thinks that eventually this all will come out in the wash. We got Mitch Marner.
There's 76 games left. Like,
Yeah. I think, but I think you're 100% within your rights to be concerned about the way they've started here. But as we talked about with the salaries and with the skill level on this team, the Leafs go as Marner and Matthews go. Now, we found out this morning that they've been split up at practice. So it's going to be, they're bringing Matthews, Nylander back, and I think Bunting's going to play with them.
Yeah. Here,
And then
you
it's
wanna
at
bring it up?
Kerfoot, Tavares, Marner. Tavares, Marner was spectacular together.
Yes, and it gives Kerfoot, who makes too much money for the 3rd line on this team, it gives him purpose.
Yes.
And
Yes,
he was
it
good
does.
with Tavares.
I think what I will say here is that how long do we really think Mitch Marner's on? I think 13 games. He's had 1 goal in those last 13 games, includes playoffs and regular season. How long do we think that's really going to last? How long do we think it's going to take Austin Matthews, who has looked really good in spurts? Like as a player, he's still good. He may not be scoring, but he's still looking good to me. Nobody looked good on Saturday, but how long? Yes, Spezza looked good. How long is it going to be before he starts to light it up? Remember, this is a guy in 51 games had 40 goals last year.
Well, and the beautiful thing about, like, people are acting like there's a right answer to Matthews and Marner because we screamed for it for a long time, or Matthews, Nylander. What the beauty is, you can flip-flop. You can interchange them. You can mix it up. You could play a game on a Friday and have Marner. You can play a game on a Saturday and have Nylander. But never. They never just swap back and forth. Why not? Why not?
Well, I think they've had to now. And I was reading James Myrtle's column in The Athletic today, and he's saying, listen, if the next 3 games are great, then this article doesn't matter. But if the next 3 games are like the last 3 games, then we're looking potentially at a big move here. And we're not talking about firing the coach.
What is he talking about?
Well, he's talking about, he said, no matter how prolonged this mess gets, I don't think you fire the coach. It'll finally become time to trade someone significant. And he said, I know some will argue that that's overdue, and they'll be right if the Leafs continue to struggle. If you don't make a move, you risk frittering the season away and doubling or tripling down on a bet that has yet to pay off. He said, to me, those are the stakes, even this early. Who says the regular season doesn't mean anything this year in Toronto? And I think to your point, guys, I know everybody's like, well, it's the beginning of the season. It's the beginning of the season. This core has been together with Tavares for 4 years. Correct. So, I mean, those are frankly, if we're going to pay those 4 players to be the best players, Nylander, who's looked the best out of all of them to me, they have to perform. They have to win with those guys. And I think, and that's obvious, but something about this, I'm not run for the hills panicking here, but something about the team, to me, and I want to get everybody's opinion on this, feels stale. There's something about it. Do you know what I mean? When you're in a work, you can't quite place your finger on it, but you're on a show. Like for me, this is the only thing I can relate it to. I'm on a show and my co-host isn't as engaged anymore. I've had that. I'm on. I'm in a not
Sorry,
you.
can you make that
not
point?
you. I'm in a group where
really good
you're in a
tweet.
group project, and for whatever reason, there's a couple of people that just are not rowing with the same intensity as you. They may be rowing in the same direction, but do you know what I'm saying? Am I wrong? Am I crazy?
I don't think they like it right now.
Well, I
Like
would
showing up, like literally showing up. I think.
But the narrative in the offseason was that they fixed that they all went up to Tavares' cottage.
They got
that
mad.
They don't
yeah.
think about the playoffs
The new
anymore.
Muskoka 6 or whatever it was. They all went up there and they all had a good time with some s'mores.
Who
figured out the bumper?
And there's
Bumper, well, they haven't figured out the bumper.
And we're going to
No.
take it to Boston and Tampa.
and they come out
Just
this
take
year,
it to 'em.
and it's just more of the same, and nothing's really changed.
But whomst among us has not said they're okay when they're very not okay? I think that's what the Leafs did.
But Dubas basically had a quote this offseason that told you he's okay because he has to be, but he's not okay. The for better or worse quote.
Yeah.
That is the most colorful Dubas has ever sounded running this team. That was him getting one step closer to, oh, this is bad. Don't quite trust what's going on here. Maybe I shouldn't have spent the money where I spent it.
Here's why I feel bad for him and the position that the Leafs are in now. What did I say after the trade deadline, even though you guys weren't huge fans of the Foligno deal? I was like, there's no reason for this team to lose in the first round. There's none. And then they get Montreal. There's no reason for this team to lose. They're up 3-1. There's no reason for this team to lose. None. They won game 4 4-0. And even after game 5, Montreal plays their best game of the series, still blows a 3-goal lead. There's no reason to lose this series. What do you do differently if you're Kyle Dubas? I assembled the best team. They showed us they were the best team at minimum in this division. That's 2 rounds. 2 rounds right there. Everyone's off my back. I have this job for another 5 years. And they fucking blew it. So what do you do? What do you do? He's in a no-win situation. Marner is too young to trade confidently. Matthews,
They did bring in
Nylander,
And too expensive.
and too expensive.
Maybe he didn't assemble the best team in terms of character, because that seems to be the issue here. If everybody says, oh, on paper the Leafs are great, on paper the skill is all there, maybe it's all in their heads, and he didn't do a good job evaluating the talent from that perspective.
I got an idea then. You bring in a rotating cast of veterans to improve the morale around the... Fuck, we tried that too!
They brought in.
What do we do?
They also brought in Greg Harden, who is a performance coach, and the idea was, and Myrtle talks about this too in the article, about the fact that it was to build confidence back up, and especially with Mitch Marner, and I think, or at least he insinuates that it's to Mitch Marner. Obviously, they haven't confirmed that, but I mean, I don't know. I guess it's the little things you got to do, but I don't know how you break this. This is the one thing.
Can I interrupt one thing?
Yeah.
So last year, it's sometimes you go in a certain direction and it's the wrong direction and you have to correct yourself and go back. Mm-hmm. That was me with Matt Murray. Remember I was talking about Matt Murray, and I have a hard time believing he forgot how to play goalie. So I said, I hope he goes and gets help. And I got some messages from people like, dude, you're not his therapist. And they were absolutely right. So I dialed it back. Let's all stop being Mitch Marner's therapist. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Let's all stop
fair.
trying to psychoanalyze these guys. But it is fair to say that they're playing like a nervous, unconfident group.
But listen, man, when you grow up in this market, like I'm trying to put myself in Mitch's shoes here for a second.
Oh.
And they're very expensive shoes. I'm not I'm not trying to make him a victim. But you know what this team means. You know what it has meant to you. You're here. You know, you put up some numbers when you're not making the coin because the pressure's off and you're trying to prove. You hold out. You get called out by the entire market, essentially. Mm-hmm. At the end specifically, you got called out by the entire market. Now you're an $11 million a year player. When you don't play up to that potential, that has to fuck with you. Like, that's your team.
It's a childhood
That
nightmare.
is your team 100%. Like, and so to not psychoanalyze, I'm with you because none of us are qualified.
Yeah.
And most people on Twitter aren't qualified.
Yeah.
But to say that is not some kind of block that a guy in his situation has to bust through. Austin Matthews didn't grow up here. William Nylander didn't grow up here. What the hell do they care about the market? That guy knows the market. Tavares knows the market. They care different. And when Marner's in this spot, there's no way that's easy. There's no way that's easy. Just wake up tonight in Carolina and go, all right, Freddie's his ass is mine.
Right.
I'm getting 3 points tonight. That is when you know full well the hurricane that's coming when you guys fly back on the charter. It's just not the same. Mitch's situation compared to Austin and it's not the same. And you can argue it is as different as any in the league outside of like Montreal. Give me another market. I don't know. Edmonton.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Vancouver.
It's just
Boston.
Vancouver, Boston. The ones that care. If you grew up there, you know what that is. So it's not apples to apples when we're looking at these guys.
Yeah.
It just isn't.
It's a good point, and I think the question then is, and everybody's asking this. So we went through the lines today before the show, and like, where's David Kampf playing, and where's Nick Ritchie playing, and so what do they do? Because the focus has got to be, obviously, when you hear this show, we'll know what the Carolina game result was. So unfortunately, this will be somewhat out of date when you hear this. But let's say it goes well. What does that mean? And then let's posit the theory that it doesn't go well. It goes like the Sharks and the Penguins. Then what do you say? So I'm going to ask you both for both of those answers. So if it goes well tonight, what do you think?
Good. It should have.
They can't win, right?
That's
what's amazing about tonight. They can't win. If they win, it's that. You better have shown the hell out.
Well, and
if
that's
they get skunked again, Chicago game's going to be very interesting.
I understand why that's shitty for them, and I understand why that's exhausting for some people. But why am I supposed to Men in Black forget everything?
Fair.
Like that's
fair.
I think sometimes it's just a lot for us. And we talked about this a couple episodes ago because I sent out like game 2 of the year. This team looks exactly like I thought they were. They're going to finish 4th in division. They're crap. And people got on me for that. And I think it's just a lot this early in the season.
And the next night,
That's why.
everyone's saying C, and everyone's wrong. So you're looking at the Friday night game against the Sens that they lost and going C, and then the Leafs win the next night. And everyone goes, see, you're both wrong. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's infighting, arguing about whether this team is good or not. And it's not even about that. It's literally just win. I hope they get outshot 40-7 and win. I don't care.
You may get your wish.
I'm so
You may get your
beyond
wish.
caring.
Here, so one thing that is undoubtedly a problem is Michael Hutchinson looks like an absolute non-option.
Until he is.
Until he is. Last year he was good.
He looks like a third goalie.
But yeah, but I mean, but what we saw with San Jose was the first 3 goals should not have gone in.
No.
And then you can give him the 4th and the 5th because I think the 5th was an empty netter, wasn't it?
Who cares?
Then in versus Pittsburgh, he gets in for the 3rd period of a game that they have just not shown up for.
No.
And
I wish someone was recording my reaction. It's 1-1. And my wife goes, who's in net? I go, Hutchinson. She goes, is he good? I go, yeah, he was good last year, and the puck went in the middle of my sentence. In the middle of the sentence I was speaking, saying how he's good now. I was just like, oh, there's a bag of shit.
But you made a point about it in your videos, Steve, and I think this is important. The Leafs organization has been unable to develop a goaltending prospect since Felix Potvin? Or James Reimer?
James Reimer. Which is my answer, but it's also the right one.
And the perfect third option for a goalie in the NHL is what?
A prospect who you can call up and down. Last year, hey, Aaron Dell is your 3rd, and Hutchinson is your 4th. Geez, that's some depth. And then the waiver wire comes around, and someone goes yoink, and all of a sudden Hutch is your 3rd again, and then one injury, he's your 2nd. Well, you know what? They prepared for it, though. So at least he's the 3rd. No, for God's sake, develop one. Develop one. They haven't taken enough care with that. And you can point, there's always an excuse. This is the problem, right? Well, they should have beat Montreal. Well, Tavares got hurt. The Penguins just beat you without any Penguins.
Without Carter, Crosby, Malkin, Letang, and Rust.
Yes, that's a PP1 on most teams. Like, guys get hurt. Ian Scott, he was CHL goalie of the year, WHL goalie of the year. He looked like he was going to be sick. Hurt. Joseph Woll, he's had disrupted development. A lot of that is pandemic related. Get one. Get one. Trade for one. Sign one. Get one. They haven't been able to.
Their philosophy is, though, we'll get two.
We'll get.
They didn't. One guy plays 40 or 30. The other guy plays the rest.
No, and
until the other guy messes up his groin in game one. And now, Hutch, you're up.
Yeah, and how do you plan for that? And the answer is, shit happens, man. Shit happens.
And do we know? I don't want to do this to you because I love you.
Do it.
You're a good human being.
Do it. Hit me.
What's the most games Jack Campbell's played in a single season?
I believe the number starts with a 2.
Well, we're going to go well up. We're going to hit the over on that.
Oh, yeah.
So how is he going to handle that? Are we going to be David Riddiking with this team for the rest of this, like filling those holes? Waiver wire noons in the city of Toronto where Twitter goes nuts because they picked up somebody's 5th stringer? That's what's going to happen? It's messed up, man. This team is messed up. They have no heart. Their best players decide when they want to show up. They got one goalie right now, and he's played like 20 games in his life in a season. I don't know what this team's gonna make the playoffs. I'm being serious.
I know.
This team, you're not in there playing Ottawa 9 times a year. You're back with Tampa, Boston. The Sabres might win the cup.
Bobrovsky's back.
Florida, they're no joke.
Yep.
This is not like things are changing. They're mutating around you. And in some cases, they're staying the same. Explain to me how, without Hyman and add on this other stuff, because we got to bring that up, because he's going to win the Rocket Richard.
Oh, we don't.
Bring that up. How the second Hyman left, I'm like, they're in deep shit. Because that guy did a lot of things for you that the other guys are a little too bothered to do.
By the
Like
way,
everything. Like occasionally put the puck in the net. Very, very good in his own end. Health was also an issue. Granted.
sure.
But tell me how this team was better just by losing him. There's no way. There's no way you feel that. There's nothing in Richie's past. Nothing. A 15-goal season to tell you he can play that role. Nothing. And in this market, we lose it for a month because he looked good once in practice or an exhibition game. And then everyone's all over him. And I'll defend Keefe on Friday night. I like Terry Koshan a lot. I thought they were both right. You got to ask a question. But to defend Nick Ritchie, I'm fine with that because he's Nick Ritchie. And what the hell are you supposed to do? What is he, Yuri Curry?
Yeah, this is what I was going to say to Adam, because you brought up Richie and Kampf. I was like, both of those guys could have the worst game of their life, but if Matthews and Marner just show up, they could still win.
Well, that's the point, right?
You're right. You're right. I see this isn't ordinary. Don't gaslight me or Steve or anyone else in this market.
That's the term.
It is gaslighting. It is.
I thought I just said something horrifically wrong.
No, I'm being
look you just
gaslit.
shot.
Please.
It was like he said something racist, look, for sure.
I'm like, what? Why are you looking at me that way?
Because I had an epiphany.
Okay.
And that you're right. Continue.
By the way, can we get a shirt in the merch store? Sid was right.
No.
Or do you want to put it on sportsnet.shop.microsoftandcardiff.eu?
ShopSportsnet.store.
What is it?
ShopSportsnet.store.
I'm sorry.
Everything's smooth around there.
Yeah. Hey. Could it have been sportsnet.ca/Steve Dangle? Sure, it could have, but why would you do that? That'd be stupid.
I don't watch the news.
Back to the gaslight. Sorry. It's a fine website. Back to the gaslight. This isn't some slump in February that we've seen.
No.
I'm sorry. This team mentally is not in that space. They have lost players. They are now playing a third to fourth stringer in this league as their backup, and he's playing. And all of a sudden, you can't depend on Hall and Muzzin like maybe you used to. This is all real. It's happening in real time. And the one thing no one's talking about that I think is the most concerning thing is how Keith Friday is going to throw Marner and Matthews under that bus, and we're going to act like that didn't happen, specifically with Marner. We haven't heard from Matthews. We haven't heard from Matthews since. And if you go back to that all or nothing doc, one of the most interesting moments to me,
Yeah.
the Edmonton close game, right? They played tight. And Austin Matthews, to his credit, because he knows he's the big dog, says we can't be playing that way. We got to play our way. We can't all of a sudden be, the Devils of the 90s. He didn't say that, I did. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Defensive.
Did too
not
much
afraid-
emphasis on defense.
Too much emphasis. But my point is, not afraid to speak his mind because he's Austin Matthews and you're not. And Sheldon Keefe, I love how they cut it in the documentary. I didn't think they cut it in a flattering way to Sheldon in any way, shape, or form. He was cussing him out in the office and like, hey, bud, we good? We good? Like, that was interesting to me.
He took it personally.
Yep.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Well, he's the coach. It's his. You might as well. He took a swing at everything that you're about.
Yeah.
And can I just say, that was in the first half dozen games of the season, and those guys got to stop overreacting. You're not going to talk me into being wrong, guys. It's not going to happen.
Don't.
Sorry.
You're right. Steve
I know.
Dangle, you're right.
I know.
You know what?
I know.
Look at us. We're right.
Look at us.
Look at us.
Oh, God.
Grats.
Can I ask you guys a question about the fan base? Because I found that this year there's less interest in the Leafs overall, and it seems like there's like an apathy amongst
They
Leaf
haven't had a
fans
sellout.
in Toronto. Yeah, I wish we had like an inside track on the ticket sales or just
they're not gonna
marketing
announce
to
that.
see if just the numbers are down, because I feel like overall people are just not really caring.
They're not
about
hitting
the Leafs.
19,000. I can tell you that. Those numbers are out. They're not hitting 19,000. I don't know why, or maybe we do know why.
CJ tweeted about it.
Yeah.
He tweeted about it this weekend, and I think the tweet was sort of misconstrued and drew a lot of like negative, like, what the hell is he talking about? Apathy means, it doesn't mean that you don't watch the game in a lot of cases, especially for Leafs fans. It just means, do I like this team? Do I like the players on this team?
Are you entertained? Is there an emotional attachment to what you're watching? It's like any movie or show. It's like any movie or show. Like I'm barely hanging on to the morning show.
On Apple TV?
On Apple TV. It's got enough. They're like the Leafs. They got enough star power to keep me around, but I'm getting bored. I'm getting bored.
It's a show about something you do, though.
But
and you're bored.
But the acting isn't good. Like sometimes the actors don't show up right away, right when the episode begins, and give you something to remember.
They need the director to give them a pep talk.
Yeah, well, maybe the same director's been giving him the same pep talk for a few months, and now it's going through one ear and out the other.
I want to see the Amazon documentary.
And
on
maybe
the
the
morning show.
script, maybe the script isn't that strong, and maybe there are other shows like Squid Game that are coming in stronger because they're below the cap. You know what I mean? Maybe there are other shows.
We should have spent more money on the overdubs.
Yeah,
I don't know. That would have been nice.
Yeah, the Squid Game overdubs are pretty bad.
Our trade deadline acquisition for season 3 is Lou Ferrigno. I'm just trying to think of a name close to Nick Foligno. Listen, you were. I tried.
You can't win everyone. Okay.
They're not all going to be good. Listen, so a wise man once told me people don't understand money. And I think that's the problem with this Leafs team, at least in how fans like them. Because you can't, the salary cap is its own beast, but with the Leafs uniquely to this league, you cannot divorce the narrative of this team from money. You can't. A person making $50,000 a year for 40 years makes $2 million over those 40 years. These dudes make $11 million and they held out for it. Marner held out, let's be honest. He didn't miss a game, but
of course he held out.
People are going to compare but the other thing people are missing, why are people still mad at Nylander for holding out and he doesn't make the same as Marner? To someone who makes a regular person amount of money, they make the same amount of money. They make an unfathomable, I'm literally never going to make this amount of money in my lifetime amount of money per year. No one in this fan base identifies with any of these people on this team. Now, if you're good, you should get paid a lot. I'm not arguing that. But they have to bring something else. And what these guys have brought, for the most part, has been elite sports performance. But when you're not bringing that, you're just some dude who makes a lot of money.
No, what they've brought is failure.
And that...
When it counts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
The
to
guy-
Steve's point, there was sizzle for a long... And look, again, it's game 6. I understand that. but they sold a lot on sizzle and what could be. That's what you're driving at, like essentially.
That too.
Right? Like that sold for a bit. But I'm not. Should anyone be surprised they're not selling out? Considering like they're allowed to be pissed off, especially after now the economy's getting their head kicked in, and a lot of other people on top of that. This is not. Listen, man. The Leafs specifically, Raptors sold out opening night. I don't know what their number was Saturday against the Mavs, but they sold out opening night. The Leafs need to recalibrate here. Because you can't keep selling them regular seasons that don't mean anything and failure and expect to build off that. The Leafs are always going to be the number one brand in the city. But they are allowed to dip. Stocks go up and down. It happens. And I think you're seeing that a little bit. Now, I don't think it's we'll see. I don't know about crowds, and I don't know if I'm ready for that yet post-pandemic. I don't think that's what this is. I really don't. I think this is something different. And internally, they need to figure it out. Because it's about, at the end of the day, it's about product. It's about entertainment value. It's about results. It's about relating. It's about all of that. And I don't know if they have that. I just, like, how many guys passed, like, how many hockey fans have they passed Bunting walking down the street? Would go, yo, that's the bunt man. Let's go.
Put him on the bumper.
Going to Shoeless Joe's. We're going. You want a beer?
Yeah.
You wouldn't know if you ran him over with your car. You wouldn't know who he was. Past 4 guys who make all the coin, who get all the shit when they don't win. So now you're disconnected from the stars. You have no connection to Timothy Liljegren if you're passing him down the street in this city. This is a hockey town. I don't know. It's a really weird mix of stuff. And I wouldn't want to be Kyle. Let me ask you this. I'm going to give you 3 names. Who would you rather be? Kyle Dubas, Mark Bergevin, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer of Manchester United.
Oh, after that game yesterday.
The context, Steve.
God.
Man U lost yesterday to their most hated team 5-0 at home.
Oh.
Yeah, and the best player on the other team got a hat trick. Salah.
Yeah.
Got it. Mo Salah got it.
Kyle Dubas, because he seems like he's always warm.
He's got a nice cardigan collection. And a terrible office.
He seems like he's always cozy.
Physically warm or just emotionally warm? Like a kind person?
Yes.
Both?
Yeah.
He seems like a great guy.
Kyle's a good dude. Whatever happens here, personally, every interaction I've had with Kyle, he's a good human being. Never had a bad interaction with Kyle. Just so we're clear, because I don't know when's the next time I'm on this podcast talking about Kyle Dubas as the GM of the team. I'm just saying that. Good human being.
He was at that commercial shoot for that Sick Kids commercial a couple years ago. I keep telling people it was like 1:45 in a dumpster alleyway in the rain. And he was there to shoot that commercial. That's the general manager of the most popular team in the biggest city in the country.
That's awesome.
He didn't have to do that.
No.
But he did it.
I think that's it's a good question to go back to who you'd want to be. And I look at the situation and go, I don't want to be Bergeron because for many reasons. First off, I think he got lucky last year. I do. Second, I think that there's some connections to the Blackhawks that are dubious, so I wouldn't want to be that either. With him being the head of player personnel, given what happened, I wouldn't want to be Dubas because you're restricted by the moves you made. I think the best opportunity you'd have to fix the situation is in a capless league with Manchester United. You got all the money in the world. You can fix this.
You got to make it to January, though, in that window.
You do have to make it to January.
I don't know if he's going to make it past the end of this pod.
Ooh.
I don't know if he's going to make it past the end of this taping.
His press conference at the end of the thing yesterday was like, sometimes good, sometimes there's good, sometimes there's bad, but there's character in the room. I'm like, is this Pierre Dorian from 2018? We're a team.
Who is the guy who goes, sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit?
Bernardo Gattuso, yeah.
So
I like that. I prefer that.
So
I'm going to get that tattooed somewhere. Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
I'm going Manchester United on this one because I think here's the problem is that even if Dubas did want to make a move, let's say he wants to move one of the big four and you could take your pick on who you think it should be. You can't.
Not mid-season.
Locked in.
You're locked.
I tell you who's the first gone. Like, let's say this continues, right? They lose embarrassingly to Freddie and the Canes, and then to the Blackhawks, who just stink. Riley. And Adam will be right, all the way right about that.
Because he's gone anyways at the end of this year.
Come on.
Because you can't afford him.
Dude, they couldn't afford Hyman. They can't afford Riley. He's gone.
Right.
He's gone.
So you might as well get some assets.
Yeah. If you want my answer to that question, for when it eventually comes up around the trade deadline? No, he's gone.
So let me ask you this. Because we focus so much on where they are. How, if this is going to work out and this is going to work, what do they need to do? What needs to change? What's the number one thing in your minds that go for the Leafs to be successful this year? Fill in the blank. What is it?
Go ahead, Steve.
Well, I thought Sheldon, I keep saying this, Sheldon Keefe was abundantly clear in what he wants, and that's go to the goddamn net. I was making fun of them.
Because
on
of
the
clear,
stream.
because of what Sheldon said about clear shots?
Yeah, clear shots, but like playoff style goals. When Spezza has scored the last couple games, where's it been? It's been right there, and Wayne Simmons is there helping him out in front. They're a terror in front of the net.
Jason Spezza and Wayne Simmons. Literally, like,
Your core.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Like,
It's embarrassing.
Core-
those guys don't add up to like Jack Campbell or Ilya Mikheyev combined.
Love both of them, but the stakes are pretty high here.
Yeah, like you ought to be.
Stakes are pretty high.
Bunting when he was doing well in the preseason. Bunting when he got his first goal as the league. Guys, middle of the ice, in front of the net, where the goalie is, guys, facing the goalie. He's very clear with what he wants. The one criticism I would have of Keefe defensively is teams are too aware that on the breakout, the Leafs want to hold on to the puck. So rather than dump it, they're going to try to
Cross the blue line.
loop it back or cross the blue line. But if they panic and they don't have the decision-making, Pierre Engvall, they'll turn it over and the puck will go the other way and end up in the back of their net.
I love the
which is
side
what
dig.
happened in the first game.
I love the side dig. That's such a great dig.
I've noticed it more and more. I hate how often my stupid hockey brain that can barely skate knows what the Leafs are about to do.
Well, 'cause
what chance do you have against the Boston Bruins if I know what you're about to do? You're fucked. I'm stupid. I need to be very clear. I'm stupid.
somebody clip that.
Please do.
T-shirt.
You want to play with an asshole? I need to be very clear how stupid I am, and I'm able to watch and go, there it is. There it is. Here's what they're about to do. The power play has looked slightly more dangerous this year because sometimes I'm like, they're going to pass left. They passed right. Did you see how they passed right instead of left? Cheeky. Look at you learning. Look at you adapting and doing things. Wow. They way too often do the same shit. The same shit. The Habs got their teeth kicked in for 4 games. And in game 5, they did something different. And oh, bullshit. They couldn't adapt. They couldn't handle life with a team that, you know how we've been going left this whole time? We're going to go right. Oh, fuck. Now what do? They cannot handle any kind of change for or against. They cannot change themselves, and when their opponent is doing something that they're having success against and then change to something else, they don't know how to put their boot in the throat. So that, at least in part, has to be Keefe. But offensively, go to the fucking net. He's been very obvious with that. I was making fun of them on the stream because they have the puck, they have the puck, they have the puck, they have the puck. And for those of you who can't see what I'm doing right now,
Wheeling around
they're doing a circle.
Yeah.
Oh, no one is better at going Mach 10 around the net and doing nothing. What exactly?
Hold on. They have possession.
They have, but like they're making a mockery of possession. Possession. This is what Corsi is actually better than the time of possession statistic, because at least Corsi, you're doing a thing. You're putting the puck on the net. They have the puck. They have the puck. They have the puck. They have the puck.
For those listening to this, the hand gestures are just gold.
They're gold.
You got to watch this back on YouTube.
I'm full Pugliese right here, but just they have the puck. They have the puck. How many times? Like, we made fun of Kasperi Kapanen for this, and now the entire fucking team does it. They'll start left side of the blue line, Mach 10 like a Beyblade. They do this thing tonight when you see it. Just be like, Steve, they're Beyblading. Woo around the net, and they don't see an option. And they're going fast, so they run out of ice very quickly, and they fling it on from the point. And that's where now the Corsi becomes irrelevant, because flinging it on from the point is futile because there's no one in front of the net.
Now, Sid.
So you just did nothing. I can't tell you how many times over the first 5 minutes of a game they've had the puck for 4 of them and come up with 0 shots on goal. Stunning.
Sid, same question.
To look at us. Just look at us. Look at us. Stock it, Leafs.
Who's couple
this? I know I did.
guys.
To your point, I don't know who asked Mike Sullivan before the game. I don't know if it was the day before or the morning skate. But they're asking about Crosby and, what makes Crosby. Somebody had a generic, odd Crosby question. Like, what makes Crosby great? And he said, because he's had a bad wrist since 2013 and he goes to the net every game. Please, Adam, find the quote.
Okay.
It was messed up considering everything Steve just said. I'm going to say it again. He's had a bad wrist, which he just had surgery on, since 2013. 14, sorry.
Whatever.
I've been out of sports for a while. I'm sorry.
Okay, there, morning Joe.
We got to talk about
Who
that.
brought in the casual?
The noobs.
So here's what Crosby
ahead.
said. Here's what Crosby said about it. He said, I wouldn't have gotten through the season if I didn't take care of it. And then working on the second power play, Crosby's out. And they do talk about Sullivan here. Sorry, I'm trying to find the actual
want me to read
quote.
it?
Yeah,
I got
you got it.
Go ahead.
So it says, this is Mike Sullivan. What it says about Sid. I just think he's a competitive guy, loves to play, and he's tough. He's tough. There's no way to say it. He plays through a lot, not just his wrist. He plays a hard game. He plays in the battle areas. For a player of his stature, that's a superstar. He's a guy that doesn't play on the perimeter. He does his best work in the traffic. I personally think he's the best player in the game in the traffic. I just think that's an indication of his physical toughness and his mental toughness and his competitiveness. He's just got an appetite to win, and he wants to be on the ice. He plays through a lot to do it.
And when your best player is doing that, like back to that soccer game you mentioned, the Canada game, Alphonso Davies runs like 80 yards. He doesn't have to because he's Alphonso Davies. Okay? That's not his role. Did it anyway and scored one of the most spectacular goals of the year, right? It's the most spectacular goal in Canadian soccer history. Not even close. But when your best player's doing that, what's every other guy going to say? What's their excuse? Like if that guy is playing at Bayern Munich working that hard, I can't be shit. At least from an effort standpoint, I got to go. Crosby's been doing that for our lifetime, essentially. And you think it's a coincidence all those guys Saturday night busted their ass? You think that's a coincidence watching Crosby, whether it's in practice or as a black ace or in training camp? They know this. Most of these guys know this guy better than we do. They know. That is infectious. Who on the Leafs does that? You let him go to the only guy I saw, you let him go to Edmonton. I'll give Muzzin respect. I like Riley. We can throw a few names on there if you want. We can debate. Mm-hmm. I don't see a ton of guys. Spezza works, and he's doing what he can with what he's got at this age. God bless him. But when your best player's doing that, you have no choice but to follow. And who was leading like that Friday and Saturday? I think I saw that Sullivan quote, and I went, wow.
Now, extrapolating, I did find it very funny. Like, I was smiling when you were reading that quote, because that's Sidney Crosby. That's Sid the kid. That's big, whiny baby. He's never going to be able to deal with the National Hockey League. He's going to flame out because he just can't handle it. He's a big baby. Remember all that? Soft. All that. Remember that?
Whiner.
Whiner.
It's like Mario. Just whining.
And he obviously outgrew that, and it has brought him 3 cups. So this is why you don't quit on such a young group. Here's the difference. Crosby won a cup in his 4th year, and there was progression before that. Now, should everyone be held to the standard of Sidney Crosby? Perhaps not. But when you do hold everyone to the standard of Sidney Crosby, you know what you get? A 7-1 win with Evan Rodriguez as your first-line center.
Boom.
You win a game without any Penguins, because they're all Penguins. You can call them up and there's no adjustment.
You want to know what culture is? Watch that game back Saturday.
Pittsburgh Penguins.
Culture. Pittsburgh Penguins.
That's why you can never bet against them. We say that every time. We did that on our Our season previews. We did 32 season previews, 10 minutes each.
The Boston Bruins have played the same way for 11 years. And
have they ever rebuilt? Will they ever?
Yeah, and believe it or not, they've had different players. But when Sean Thornton is not on the bench, his spirit lives on. When Milan Lucic is no longer a Bruin, his spirit lives on.
Johnny Boychuk.
When Zdeno Chara is no longer walking the halls and eating leaves off trees, his spirit lives on. I'm just kidding. People. He eats people. That's all he does. By the throat. There's no culture. There was all this talk about eliminating blue and white disease, which was a perceived thing in Toronto. And it's okay to eliminate that. What did you plant? What did you cultivate?
You know what they've cultivated here is that when the fan base has had enough, you know it. And they've had enough because there was a jersey on the ice Friday night.
Can I say one thing?
It's your podcast.
Fair enough. That's one jersey.
It was also one waffle.
There's also, fair enough. You want to know a fan base who's had it? The Chicago Blackhawks. I'm tired of the Leaf fans being the big bad meanies here. They booed Jeremy Colliton
Before the game started.
Before the game started. I haven't seen you guys since last year and you're booing me?
Yeah, like he hasn't been in. Really?
It's such a good point.
And he's just sort of there like, I'm here to do a job and hope we win next time, And they're booing him out of the building. They've been booed out of the United Center every game they've lost, which is all of them, by the way. But we're the bad guys. Shut up.
They'll have fun Wednesday.
Yeah.
I think too, and I don't like this at all. There is, because a good chunk of hockey media is based here, American and Canadian. There is this thing floating out there in the ether that Toronto is somehow harder than Montreal or Boston or any of these other places to play because of it. And with fans, and I think there are certain writers in this city especially who play up the fact that quote unquote media can somehow run people out of town. And I have to say, and this is the one and only time I need to say it, I think, how arrogant are we to think that we could do that, number one. Number two, if an organization is making its decisions based on, like a player decision based on what the media and fan thinks in any one moment, then they're not the right people in that job. And I'll say that in the in the context of Ron Wilson, and we heard that story. Remember, Brian Burke talked about the fact in his book that he's like, if I didn't want to fire Ron Wilson, but I put it out there again, it would have been torture. Coach different. And also, Ron hadn't had any results.
Yeah, they lost a lot of games.
They did
by a lot of
so
goals.
That may have also been the right choice, and maybe it's a face saver for Brian in the book. I don't know, but I have to say, I just what I want to get here is that this can change. In a week's time, if you were going to be on, Sid, we could be having a different conversation. Holy shit, look at these guys. They've turned it around. 3 games. They look amazing.
I'll give them all the credit in the world.
Right. But how, and I know what you guys are going to say here, how likely is that in your mind?
Jesse, pull up the sked, please.
I'll get it right up.
While we're waiting for that, I'll say I believe it, and I believe in the likelihood. Because a lot of people won't remember this because a lot of people were not in the mood to remember it. But they went on a little win streak after the David Ayres game. They did.
They did. I don't, because of COVID, I don't remember that.
Oh, that too.
Anything February-ish to early March is kind of a blur to me. Kind of a blur. But you don't think, does anyone think, it's hilarious that we're, they could go out there and win 4-0 tonight. But to your point, again, it's going to be one of those, you better have shown up tonight.
Yeah.
They're not going to, it's so messed up this evening that they're not going to get credit if they do the thing they're supposed to do. That's where the fan base is at. And rarely do you get to that point. This fan base was so kind to this team in that rebuild. I've never seen the city like this.
We wanted it.
Yeah. Wanted it. You guys were spearheading. I mean, you guys from the mountaintops saying, please suck as hard as you can. Sorry.
Kipper called you a loser. Kipper called Steve a loser on television when he did the tank video.
My uncle wanted to fight him.
Were you Tank Nation, Tank Army? What was it?
I wore an army helmet on TV and was like losing his Nito, and he said, "You're a loser."
and he was right.
And we love Nick,
Love
by the
Kipper.
way. We love Kipper.
Kipper was not wrong there. Kipper was not wrong.
Losing is neato. Hey. Middle finger.
But the capital they had,
Yeah.
the capital with the fan base was staggering. Staggering. For a market, you're right, Montreal's tougher.
Oh, way tougher.
It's complete nonsense to
Crazy.
suggest otherwise. It's the most ignorant thing ever. But everyone wanted it. Everyone was all right with it.
Yep.
The cap hit at the time for Willie, maybe it'll be better in a few years. It'll look better on the cap. Cap's going up. Cap's going up. No one can convince me they haven't burned, of all that good capital, 40% of it.
Oh.
If not more. You think it's more?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. If it was more, then they'd be drawing 15,000 to me.
It depends who you ask. It depends who you ask. And the one thing I'm noticing now that it's legal to go outside, talking to people, is they don't talk about sports the way Twitter does at all.
Well, because Twitter's not real life.
No, it's
I know that's hard.
not.
It's hard for media organizations. Media organizations. I'm not talking about you who are on Twitter as fans. I'm talking about media organizations. Well, we got a tweet from one person in Saskatoon, and they think this. Let's change our whole strategy based on that. Media organizations actually do that. We need to stop.
I've never at a barbecue. I've never on a walk. I've never in a restaurant. I've never in a doctor's office. I've never ever in casual conversation heard the term XG.
Expected goals.
Yeah, well. Hey, Doug, you see, I know they lost 7-1, but they kind of lead the league in chances. Like, that's pretty... No one's saying that! Now, it doesn't make it wrong. It doesn't make it untrue, but you can't expect fans to give a fuck. No one cares because they shouldn't. Hey, son, how'd you enjoy your first Leafs game? As you see, they won 4-2. Mm-hmm. Daddy, they only controlled 45% of shots on goal. I don't want to play anymore.
It doesn't, and
takes his jersey off.
He's done. He's
to
out.
be fair, and let me just
All
say
those
this.
things are relevant, but you can't expect people to care.
What
Right.
about the XG per 60
I don't understand
at
that.
5-on-5?
It's nowhere near adequate. It's replacement level at best.
This is a bit somewhere. I don't know where. Two normal dudes talking analytics at the bar. There's something here. You've hit on something. I would listen to that.
Next sketch at Corner Gas. I think the other thing is, and this is not to demean the analytics community.
No!
Everybody always takes that as like, but the average fan isn't going to care about that. The average fan, if you care about that, you could consider yourself above average fan. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're listening to this show, you're probably an above average Leaf fan.
Oilers kicked the shit out of the Jets. 4 straight games. Lost. Who cares? Fucking cares. Literally, who cares?
Yeah. And so the other thing I want to throw at you guys, and I feel like this is throwing dynamite in a pond, but Elliot Friedman and Jeff Merrick just came out with 32 thoughts, and one of the first things they talk about in it is apparently the reason Hyman didn't stay in Toronto is because Toronto would not do a no movement clause. Now,
What about the money?
the money, I think they were
The money
aligned
wasn't
on.
there.
He was willing to accept more because he was going to get the 8th year. So he was willing to accept a thing. Now, it makes
year for how
sense.
much?
I don't know. I
Dangle
haven't
is
listened to the
lying.
show. It just came out.
Steve Dangle's lying on the floor for those listening. He's lying on the floor.
So
Face
it's
first.
not necessarily that they were wrong in not doing that. But I do think, given the market, and I have to give Freach full credit for this because he knows, the temperature is white hot right now, and dropping a factoid like that, he could have dropped that this summer. But he saved it. Or maybe he didn't. Maybe he didn't know until this week. I don't want to speak for Elliot Friedman. I love Elliot.
I defer to the gentleman from Oshawa.
Yeah, what's up? Physical pain. Just.
But my question is this. Why is it we watch All or Nothing? Kyle Dubas can literally poke his head back in a room with Brendan Shanahan and go, "Can I get up another first for Foligno? You all right? Okay, done. Here we go." Like you're shopping in a grocery store and picking up gum and putting stuff back. Like you're just kind of doing that. but the no movement was the hill to die on. And money, I was also a part of that. Money had to be a part of that.
You know what?
Right.
Like there's a lot of things going on.
I want to know what Freach said exactly, but the sense was that might have been the breaking fact.
I'm excited.
Wow.
For when the Leafs win the cup this year, and I can't wait for the because there's going to be all or nothing again. Is what it's going to be called. I can't wait for the full episode dedicated to how Dubas would not accept anything less than a second round pick for that 8th year of Zach Hyman.
Oh, I told you guys. You should have just taken
30
it.
for 30.
That's a 30 for 30. Like, man, you thought Reggie Miller and the Pacers versus the New York Knicks was something. Dubas versus Ken Holland. Talking about a second round pick versus a 6th. Batten down the fucking hatches. Talk about stuff you've never heard at a barbecue. Who? You know what Leaf fans care about? Whether or not Zach Hyman is on the team. And he's not.
Okay, Jesse, you got the schedule up there?
I do.
Here's what we're going to do. Bold prediction time. Everybody on the panel. Okay? What are the next 3 games?
Tonight versus the Hurricanes.
Is it in Toronto or in Carolina?
In Carolina, yeah.
Loss.
Steve?
Win.
I'm going to say win, too, because I'm optimistic.
Wednesday versus the Blackhawks in Chicago.
Hold on, Jesse. We need your prediction as well.
Oh, win.
Thank you.
Win. Yeah. Wednesday, Chicago
The
versus
fuck
the
do you guys
Blackhawks.
know?
All right.
Chicago?
Yeah, Chicago in Chicago.
You
Wednesday.
know what? I'm going to be positive. I'm going to be positive, Jesse. I'm going to give them a win. Win in Chicago.
I think given the Blackhawks defense being the worst in the NHL this year, there's an opportunity, right? Marc-Andre Fleury's feeling off. Seth Jones is, if you're talking about advanced stats, his advanced stats are like the worst in the league, and his extension doesn't kick until next year. I think they're going to win that game. They need to win that game.
Blackhawks in overtime.
I'm taking the Blackhawks as well. They're going to get their first win of the year on Wednesday. Saturday versus the Red Wings, who are red hot. It's in Toronto.
It's on national television. It's a team the Leafs should beat handily. 4-1 Red Wings.
I'm going to go. They're going 0-3 on Hockey Night in Canada this year to start. And 0-3 on Dangle streams, too. You know what? Maybe this is your fault.
They won the first one.
Oh, did they? Oh, they won the first one. Yeah. So, yeah, no, I think they're going to lose against Detroit.
Like, I'm being honest here, like in my heart of hearts. Like, I told you they would win the first one. I think they lose to the Red Wings. Yeah.
Because the Red Wings look good.
They give a shit.
Bar's pretty low on the Red Wings looking better, though.
Oh, yeah.
Jesse?
I'll take a victory versus the Red Wings.
Okay. All right.
One more?
Come on, more.
Yeah,
One more?
This is fun.
Vegas, Toronto, next Tuesday.
In Toronto?
In Toronto.
That's the one no one would expect, or I wouldn't expect a W in, so Leafs win. Leafs roll out of bed that morning and say, you know what? Time to get at her. Let's go. Win.
I think Vegas will be motivated because it's a chance to change the narrative about them, but I think the Leafs win.
I think the Leafs lose to Vegas. I think they play too tight defensively. Petrangelo, man.
Oh,
Trent.
so many injuries, though.
So there were no 0 for 4s in the group in terms of those 4 games. I think we all gave the Leafs a game at some point.
I
there.
said 2 and 2.
I'll take the
I said
Leafs beat Vegas here
You
because
think
Vegas
Leafs
is
beat Vegas?
struggling.
2-1 and 1.
Yeah, I think here's the thing. Everybody in this room wants, and Sid, I don't know, maybe I'm speaking for you. Everybody wants this team to succeed.
Yeah, is 82 and 0 off
No,
the
listen,
table?
anyone who works in this town, it's good business if the Leafs are relevant and are good and people care about them and they win. Like people when they win that series, which will happen one day, in your kids' futures,
It's going to be so great.
one day, it's gonna be like a bomb goes off in this city, and it's around. I remember when they won in 2004, the good old days. Rest in peace, Pat. The good old days. It was the same thing. People were going nuts up Yonge Street. It was the same thing.
It was awesome.
Times it by 9 with this generation because they haven't seen a thing. It's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be nuts.
I remember flying down Lawrence, for all you Scarborough people, with a Canada flag hanging off my backpack on my bike when Canada won gold in Salt Lake. It was just the best thing ever. I was 14. I didn't have a care in the world. No, I was still 13. Didn't have a care in the world. The Leafs I'm a 33-year-old man. It's been more than half my life since the Leafs won a series. But I'm being too negative. Like,
It's That's the definition of gaslighting. There's no question.
Well, and it's like I'm being negative for the sake of it. So you want me to lie?
You're doing it for clout and clicks.
Oh yeah.
They're doing it for YouTube views.
Yeah, you need more YouTube views, Steve. You don't have enough.
I am actively rooting against prosperity for me. My videos do better
when they
lose.
Oh,
because you guys are all sociopaths. You are all the weird dudes with the mask from Squid Game, just watching me suffer for your own entertainment. And I root against it every time. I got 146,000 views for the Leafs' first win against Montreal. Kidding. I got like half the views. That's what I got last game. Because the viewership for the stream was good. The viewership for the stream was better than the first game against Ottawa. Why? Because they all really wanted to see Sam Lafferty and the Pittsburgh Penguins. No! They tuned in because they might see a man's head explode live on air. And just one day I would like to stream them winning.
yeah. All right, now let's get to the press conference.
Oh, let me hit the button.
Play the. Thank you.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
Should we get to other teams or?
No. I think just listen, just like usual, the Leafs are the story. I want to thank Sid for coming on today and obviously staying a little bit later. I know you're doing mornings now. Mm-hmm. And I just want to ask you a quick question. How is that? You're doing a completely different thing in a completely different context than from anybody's ever really seen you in. And because everybody before a few months ago would have been like, well, he can only do sports. How do you feel about that?
I feel pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah. I do miss the guys and Timmy and everyone. To be able to have the freedom we had on that show is messed up. And I never want to give the impression I took it for granted at all, because it rarely happens in our business. I mean, you guys are paving your own way here, so you can do whatever you want now. But us in that tent, as Steve will know, it's not always that simple, and they trusted us for a long time. So on days like today specifically, I really miss it, because this is where careers are made in sports broadcasting, when it's just all going oddly haywire and all people want to do is talk about it or download about it. So what I don't miss are those days in late July when everyone signed.
You could talk about tennis.
No, but it's all you find content. I'm just being honest. It was, Tim and I are doing a tough show. I do not miss that. Because there are cycles in the sports here that are better than others. Just letting people in a little bit. But in terms of this challenge, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. I got used to the hours a lot quicker than I thought I would, which was my biggest fear. My biggest fear wasn't putting a good show on with Dina Pugliese and that incredible team over there. My concern was, can I sleep good? Can I make good sleep to the point where I could put together a coherent 3.5 4 hour show at that time in the morning? But it's been great. No 2 days have been the same. It's been to be on breakfast television has been unbelievable.
I already got your answer upstairs, but I want to get it for the listeners. What is it like because when I was on with you, I love when you get into your Sid takedown mode. I'm gonna look down the barrel of this camera and I'm gonna do a takedown right now. Eugene Melnyk, what you're doing with the Ottawa Senators is poop, and I don't like your poopiness, Eugene Melnyk. What is it like to then turn around
and me impression?
Yeah,
terrific.
Hey, you're poop. What is it like to then turn around and do that on the Prime Minister?
Oh, people saw that.
Oh
Yeah. When he took the Day of Remembrance and just went on vacation
and Tofino'd it up. Mm-hmm. It's a new world. I'm learning that it's a new world. On that specific instance. Based on, I won't get into it specifically, but based on the feedback I got, I'm very comfortable in what I said on air.
Oh,
very comfortable.
Absolutely.
But to have that, to your point though, to have that opportunity to not do that about like DJ Smith.
Right.
And to maybe get to talk about the Prime Minister of the country and the Premier of Ontario a little bit. It's a different ring. I'll say that. And I'm piqued at the challenge because again, the freedom I'm getting at breakfast television. I work for incredible people. I don't have to kiss ass. I already have the job. They're incredible in that they let me do that. I was expecting something. Nope, nothing. And just like Timmy, when I would go off with McAuliffe, it would be Tim would never ever say, "Listen, don't agree with anything you did there. Shouldn't do this. Should do that." That's not how we worked. Because I'm kind of nuts. So you either let me be a little nuts or you don't. And if I feel strongly about something, let me go. Just let me go. That's all I ask.
If you're not going to let me be Sid Seixeiro, you should have got someone else.
Yes. You may make some enemies here along the line, and I'm sorry. But if I'm upset and I'm pissed, it's going to come through. And with Tim, he would never muzzle me, ever. And with my bosses at breakfast television, now you can't do that every day. As Tim and I would talk about a lot, like you can't. If that's an everyday thing, then you're Skip Bayless. You're also making $6 million a year, but you're Skip Bayless. But it's been an incredible experience. It's been an incredible experience to be allowed to be completely honest with people on air about things that back in the day when they met, like strong sports things that matter to us or other things that matter. It's been like I'm a really lucky guy to get this opportunity at breakfast television, and I'm like I still feel like I'm getting comfortable. Like I don't feel 100% immersed. The crew have brought me in 100%, but just the way I know I can work. You know how it is. You're trying. Some days you have that rhythm. I used to say to Tim, there are days you do the show, and there are other days the show does you. And I'm trying to find the balance between the two because it's a big show. But
very Lebowski.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Never seen the movie.
What?
Never seen the movie.
It's not.
It's
overrated.
Is it overrated?
Yeah,
I've heard it's a little overrated.
Its reputation is bigger than the movie itself.
Yeah.
That's
what I've heard.
I enjoyed the film.
Okay. Art is subjective.
I haven't seen it.
Art is subjective.
I've never
But
seen
to answer your question, I miss Timmy and the guys. It's a great. It was an amazing run that we had, and I'm blown away at some of the opportunities that I'm getting here. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm sleeping.
It's been fun to see in that context too. It has.
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm on at the same time as you are. So when you go off on one of those rants, I get to watch it in studio at Virgin. So it's kind of fun to see, and you're like, and I'll play it for like TJ and Jax and that sort of thing. And
you have us up at Virgin?
Yeah.
Well, we have CP24 on the thing, but I see the Twitter account from BT, right? We still.
You know what's amazing? In our washroom, you guys are up.
What?
I swear to God.
Really?
I have taken a piss to you every morning since March.
Do you know that we're not allowed to? We have an internal television system at Bell. Doesn't have City TV. Couldn't put you on if I wanted to. Doesn't it?
I believe it.
Yeah. So it's like you can watch CTV Life, you can watch CTV Drama, or you can watch CTV. That is all you can watch. Oh, and CP24, and that's it. And that's only the
You have a story about. Do you want to tell the story about the sales guy who tweeted that we were watching CP24 at the Rogers Building?
So when I was at City, I was doing BT in a far lesser role than what you're doing, and I was on like 2 times a morning. It's almost like Steve on trade deadline day.
Wow, 2 times. Look at you, TV star.
I'm kidding, buddy. I was Blake and I were experimenting at the time with camera work, and that was because of Jesse. And Jesse, who was a part-time guy making less money than the interns on the intern program, I'm not kidding, that's a real story, was going, I'm seeing a lot of shows do this and out of the States, and we should be trying this. So we tried this video, and we were really proud of it. And it got almost no play online, no reaction, and management put no support behind it, as they did. If you're in a certain spot there, you just don't get any support on that one. And so we thought we were really proud of it. And I get one of the head guys at City News come up to me the next day and tap me on the shoulder. And he said, "Hey, I saw your video." And he's got this big news guy finger, just tap you on the shoulder. And I thought, oh shit, somebody actually saw it. Like, maybe I'm going to get a compliment here. Wrong. Because what happened was somebody, the guy that runs, I think his name's Michael Melling, the guy that runs CP24 saw the video. And what does he see? Not the content of the video, but fucking CP24 is on in the background in one of our TVs. He sends it to everybody on the CP24 staff and then forwards it over to the head of City News, who I guess they're friends. And he's like, just so you know, in the future, make sure that you don't have CP24 on in the background.
Wow.
And he was serious about that.
Priorities.
Yeah. And I don't think he's there anymore. So we're not calling him.
I'm new enough where I don't know many people there.
No, but yeah,
So
no,
I'm
he's
good.
not there
Yeah.
anymore. But it was just one of those where you're like 25 years old and a big finger hits you on the thing. Anyway, that's the story.
And you think a compliment's coming.
I'm like, hey, somebody fucking watched our video. This is great.
Can I ask a question from Andrew B?
It's probably stupid.
Andrew says, something I've been thinking about.
Berkshire?
I'd like to hear you guys talk about it. What if there was a tournament where the championship teams from the 4 major sports played each other in a round-robin tournament where the teams had to play all the 3 sports outside of their professional sport?
Oh, that's cool.
Amazing.
MLB team and NHL team would play basketball, or an NFL team and an NBA team would play baseball. All teams would play all the other teams and play all sports other than their own. Which team would win the most games?
I've watched the combine enough in the National Football League. If when pressed, I think those guys can skate too. They're some of the craziest athletes I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I'm going to say NFL players would win that round robin. Maybe not hockey, but they compete in all 3. You don't think NFL players can play basketball?
Oh, yeah.
Or baseball.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Or baseball? I mean, listen, it's tough to hit a 98 mile an hour fastball with some movement. I understand that. Or a breaking ball at 88 after that. NFL players are just gross. Did we go past the time here?
Steve, is your phone okay?
Wow. Your phone's drunk.
It's 2 times today.
Sorry, guys, I'm new. Sorry.
You should sell a phone at the merch store. It just goes off every 4 minutes.
I like hockey
That's
players.
next. Way to blow it, jackass.
I don't think hockey players. So let's say it's the Lightning versus the Bucks in basketball, right? Because that's essentially what we're
the
taking.
Lightning are not going to win that.
No.
Yeah.
But I feel like
No
they'd
one's
be-
going to win at anything.
But I
that
feel like
isn't their
the
sport.
No, but I feel like I think if it's say the Lightning taking on a baseball team playing football, I think the Lightning could win that.
So it would be the Dodgers versus the Lightning in basketball or football.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
So-
I
okay,
can
we're
see
all
hockey
agreed.
players being pretty good at that. I feel like the thing with baseball is it's so mental, right? It's such a mental game that, and let's be honest, the physical fitness levels are different. The requirements are different in baseball than they are in any other sport. I think the NHL athletes do really well because their cardio is pretty spectacular and they're pretty strong. Same with the NFL guys. But in the
NBA
basketball, but the
cardio is
NBA
pretty nuts. NBA cardio, you
Back
do
and
not.
forth.
Did you see the shop with LeBron and Draymond Green and
Yeah.
Tom Brady?
Oh my
that was
God.
one of the best ones because Draymond's like, listen, Tom, I respect you, but you get to stop after every play.
Yeah.
We go up and we got defense. And, I missed that shot. Shut up. Now go play like you're going like this. And it's just a quick window into the game from a guy you just don't hear all the time. And I always remember that.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
Like the cardio of the
take a
NBA
break.
guys is nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next question.
Next question. Sorry, I got to scroll to it. This is from Brodeur Hall of Fame. Sid, this is for you. Prior to their home opener on Saturday, the Seattle Kraken retired the number 32 in celebration of being the 32nd NHL franchise, as well as 32,000 season tickets sold in one day. What's your opinion of retiring numbers that don't honor a player that contributed to the franchise?
Their bank account would say 32,000 tickets contributed to the franchise. Like I think, listen, you have a team. You paid, how much did they pay for it?
750 million.
750 million. Retire any number you want, man. You're keeping the Coyotes afloat. Do whatever. Have fun. It's such a great market. That Canuck game Saturday was great. Like it was just fantastic. It's exciting. I'm fine with it because I heard Jeff kind of go down the road Saturday that they were kind of going to do this maybe, and I'm like, is this all right? And then and then I looked at it and I'm like, you know what? The old me would have hated this. The new me has softened a little. Go 32. Go retire numbers for any reason you want. because 20 months ago, I didn't realize how short life was. Life's pretty damn short. Have fun with it. Do your thing, Kraken. If that's your real name. Enjoy it.
Get Kraken. How many other teams have retired the number 32? I think the answer is 0 because it's a backup goalie number. Everyone should get off of it.
I also want to say here, too, that Seattle as a city does a really great job, especially the Seahawks, of honoring the fans.
The 12.
The 12, yeah, 12. Man, that whole thing, that whole run with Russell Westbrook, and what they should have won 2 in a row. I still can't believe they didn't. But they've done Seattle. That's sort of the expectation, is like the fans are right there with you, and Seattle fans really do invest in their teams like that. The Mariners fans, and I only know this because half of my family's from Washington State. Mariners fans are nuts. They're nuts. They're crazy. That team, you want to talk about doing nothing for 20 years. The Mariners did nothing for 20 years and had Robinson Cano's contract.
They traded guys away at this deadline and still were competitive somehow.
Yeah.
People were freaking out in that market.
It's crazy.
Can I beat the comment section to it, even though I'm probably too late?
What did I do?
Did you mean Russell Wilson?
Russell Wilson. Did I say Westbrook?
Yeah.
Oh, because he's in the news.
I'm just sticking up for you, buddy.
Thank you, pal. I appreciate it. Anyway, long story short, I think it makes a lot of sense for Seattle, given the context of what that city is. Mm-hmm. So anyway.
Yeah.
Steve, this was a follow-up from last episode.
Big fan of the Kraken goal horn, by the way. Sorry.
From Apple on our Discord. You said no to a musical LFR.
Yes.
How much to donate for a Hat Guy LFR?
So we would need an additional amount to what I already have, right? Mm-hmm. So right now, to make all things fair, I have raised $14,035 for Easter Seals.
Wow. A lot of money.
A lot of money.
Good on you, brother.
Get me to 50.
If you hit 50 G's by November
November 11th.
11th.
Okay.
We'll say 6 p.m. November 11th.
50 grand for
50
Easter Seals.
G's.
Hat Guy gets to do an LFR.
Yep. You got 36 G's to go.
I think we can do that. We can do that, right?
Yeah.
We can get him there.
You're going to do that way before November 11th.
It's coming out of Sid's pocket.
We'll talk about
It's going to be
after.
Sid completely.
Yeah. Getting that Dina money.
Amazing.
This guy.
We'll talk about
Well,
it
listen,
after.
Sid, thank you so much for your time today. I know
Thanks
you're
for the
absolutely
invite.
fried. I know what it's like to be up this late. It's like
You do this every day, man.
It's just, it is what it is, right? It's life. But listen, it's been so great to see you and have you here. And when we invited Sid on, we're like, okay, we'll send you a Zoom link. He's like, no, fuck that. I'm tired of Zooms. So he could have been at home right now, but you came on, and we really, really appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
You guys are just. It's inspiring what you're doing. In all sincerity, you guys are great. I've known you for a bit, and anytime you want to come by, just let me know.
Every week, then.
Wish I had some fucking line at the end.
Do you want me to hit the button?
Yeah, let's hit the button. Okay, and don't forget, brand new Chris Johnson show out today, along with this show, and then a brand new Agent Provocateur, the first one with Allan Walsh and special guest Dave Perron, talking about how he went from house league hockey to the NHL in 4 years. Come on, how about that first story? That's all I got.
That show came together quick.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.